Schon gar nicht bei Schiff.
And boom, boom, boom. We're live, everybody. Hey, welcome to Red TV and Conversation. I'm Peter Clark, and don't let the new hair fool you. It is me. It's really me. I'm here. Super pumped to have you here today. Thank you for joining me. Always good to know that there's people tuning in. I know there is because I've talked to them. So I know you're out there watching. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much. I know you're probably here for that beautiful lady over there. If you're here for the first time, love it. I appreciate it. If you're here and you've returned, you already know what we're in for. So that I really appreciate that because you already know what kind of fun we're going to have. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, always appreciate all the support and the messages I get. I always get these super kind messages from people. I really, really, really appreciate that. If you like what you see in here, please like and share with your network. Red TV, about amplifying good, doing good in the world, helping others get their message out there. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. So hope you will join me in that little vision and that little quest right there. Hey, what can I say? Just super pumped today. I meet some super cool people. We have so much to cover, so I'm going to talk very fast to get the intro done. But there's so much to talk about. Met this lovely lady through 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗵. So that reminds me, hey, everybody, today is Do One Give Day, April 28th, 2022, as we record this. A shout out to 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗵. 365 Give, and I met this lovely lady next to me through 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗵 on Clubhouse. If you don't know what Clubhouse is, no problem. Just type in Clubhouse, you'll find out really quick. It's a social media app, is what it is, and basically it's kind of like this, but it's just audio. And it's a great way to meet people from around the world. And this person is from around the world, and I was so lucky to meet through 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗵. So Do One Give, by the way, get out there, do one thing. Celebrate it, do one give, be kind. That's all it is, everybody. Just be kind out there and capture that kindness somehow, some way. Post it on social media. Let's get 50,000 imprints out there. I think let's get 50 million. Why not? Let's go for that. Again, there's so many cool people that you get a chance to meet, and this person has been one of them for me. She was kind enough to send me a copy of her book, which we'll be talking about today. Here you go. The Answer Is You. I love this idea, the formula to master your mind and your emotions. Listen, this is why I got her on the show. This guy right here needs all of that. So again, very powerful stuff. Mindset. I've been listening a lot more about what people are saying, and mindset is one of these things that keeps showing up all of the time. Let's introduce this lovely person right here. She's a transformational, basically mindset coach and mentors, which is fantastic. We'll talk about that. Best-selling author of the book, The Answer Is You, the formula to master your mind and your emotions. We just talked about that. Talks about happiness, leadership, self-mastery. Love yourself. Hey, got to work on that for me right here. Mindset mastery. That's what we're going to do. Just an awesome person. And if you check out our Instagram, you'll see for yourself how she holds herself well. She's excited because she just did a new photo shoot, and I can totally relate to that. We are going to have a lot of fun. Please welcome everybody. Mimi Bland, how are you?
Peter, how are you? Thank you for having me on the show this evening. So privileged to speak with you.
Hey, listen, good to see you. Always good to be. Hey, listen. Anyway, yeah, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. You're over in the UK, Windsor. This is where we're across the pond today, everybody. And it's so wonderful to meet you. I mean, I know we've spoken before. Most of the time, I actually don't meet my guests. Just I don't really meet them before I chat with them. But we've met and we've chatted a couple times on your Clubhouse show, and we'll talk about your Clubhouse in the future and so on. So I just want to thank you for all of the time and energy and things that you've given me. So I just want to say that publicly.
Thank you so much.
tell you how much that means to me. It's just been amazing. Anyway, super kind, appreciate it. Here's how you reach Mimi. I want to get that in up front, everybody. MimiBland.London. I love that. .London. You know what confuses me, Mimi, is every time when I write your name, I'm always thinking I write Mimi London. I don't know why I write that. I don't know why I do that. And again, I mentioned about Clubhouse. Mimi's on Clubhouse. You can find her at Mimi Bland. If you've never been there before, by the way, just check it out. I mean, just go and check it out. A great way to meet people, all those kinds of things. I'm going to put all of her content on the bottom there. That's how you can reach out to her on LinkedIn, her Instagram account, her Facebook page, and her website. I think I covered a few things.
Got it all covered.
That's how we roll around here. I got to start by asking you very simply. Always start with asking this. You and your family, everyone okay? Everyone all right?
Perfect. I've got 2 amazing sons who I'm so proud of. Both work for themselves, got their own companies, and 5 amazing grandchildren. So life is perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better. Seriously, very blessed in life.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Hey, listen, there's going to be lots of people watching here, so I want to make sure that we're acknowledging them. This guy is always super supportive of me. Hey, Tim, good to see you, my friend. Mimi. So I'm just going to listen. We want people watching, wanting engaging. Thank you, Tim, for always. Tim has a really cool show, actually, about his cancer. About his cancer journey and surviving and thriving, and he talks to other people about their stories and amplifies that. That's doing good in the world. So that's fantastic. Good setup right there. Hey, Abdullah, I hope I'm saying this right. Abdullah, is that a friend of yours? Do you recognize Mimi?
No, I didn't recognize. No.
All right. Hey, listen.
If I do know you, I'm sorry. There's so many people that contact me.
I know 𝘄𝗶𝘁𝗵. I know 𝘄𝗶𝘁𝗵 from Ontario. Good to see you. Good to see you. That's there's blood in there. There's blood in there, baby. All that kind of good. Hey, Bill, good to see you. Good to see in San Diego this week, but I think he's East Coast. He's normally East Coast in North America, but he's over in San Diego. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Beautiful sunshine over in San Diego. Come on, let's go. Here's beautiful Wendy. Thank you so much, Wendy, for showing up. It's good to see you, my friend. You already know. Looking forward to this conversation. Your incredible guest, Mimi Bland. I know we will all find some amazing insights into transforming your mindset and living beautiful. Look at that. We haven't even talked yet, and you got a fan. And of course, a wonderful friend of mine, Melody Bellevaux. I love that name because it's kind of like it's a very hockey name, believe it or not. And she has this super cool Massachusetts accent, just so you know. Always love to have her. I'm going to believe that this is my spouse. If this is my beautiful spouse, Renuka, let me know if that's you, darling. Appreciate you being here as well. Speaking of my beautiful wife, what am I doing? Here we go. Watch this. Mimi, I've never done this before, but I wanted to do it with you because you mindset and transformation and so on. My beautiful wife has come up with this idea, and it's just out now. She has these cards, really cool cards. They're called Remind.
Wow, amazing.
Isn't that cool? And there's a whole set of these things. And basically what you do is it's basically just daily self-awareness is what it is. Simple reminders to help you for your well-being journey. That's what it is. It develops, and the intent is, creating a mindful wellness and strategies and reducing stress, things like that. So you have them on your desk or wherever you want, and you just pick a card. So I'm going to pick a card for you right now. You just tell me when to stop, and I'll take it off the top, and let's see what our intention is today.
Let me send some positive intentions into that card. Okay, stop.
All right, I'm going to take the top one. But there's a whole deck of these things, everybody. So reach out to Renuka if you want to learn more about this. There's the cover of the card. And let's have a look. It's about building community.
Ooh.
This one's about building community. Seek out how appropriate is that? We're going to talk about community building. We're going to talk about Clubhouse. We're going to talk about you. Seek out ways to build community. Donate to a food drive. Help a community project, buy from locally owned business, just reminders of how you can engage and build community. So there's these little remind cards. Anyway, I want to get a shout out there
to give.
Right. And to do it on Do One Give Day.
Exactly.
Come on. So there's a shout out to Renuka Mohan, everybody in the comments. You can reach out to Renuka to find out a little bit more about this. Listen, we got so much to cover right here. So please don't take my fast speaking as rushing you. I just have so much prepared for you, and I just want to start chatting and talking with you about it. let's get right into it. You're a transformational mindset coach, and I've been listening and hearing a lot of people referring to mindset a lot. Not about positive thinking and affirmations and stuff, but mindset. Let's start right there, if you don't mind. Give us, because if that's what you spend your livelihood at, and basically it's right here in your book as well. Let's talk about what is mindset. What does that mean? What is that?
Well, it's your thoughts. It's the way you think, because every single thing that you think, what you're thinking about is creating your reality. So we don't understand. We've never been taught how powerful our mind is. We think that it's just, we're unconscious. We just get up every day and we get on with our routines and we get on with life, but we don't actually understand. We've never been told the foundations of who we are and how we actually create this life and what we're actually here for. So mindset is literally, to me, it's about learning to self-master yourself, to master your thoughts, because you can't stop your thoughts. Your thoughts are continuously flying in left, right, and center. But you can become very aware of your thoughts, and then you can then start becoming in control of where you're taking your life and the direction that you're heading. So that's what really mindset is all about. It's about becoming aware of the thoughts that you're thinking and understanding the power that your thoughts actually have.
Yeah, and this is in the book as well. We'll talk about that. Thoughts are things, and I know that you hold a room called that. We'll talk about that as well in Clubhouse. So it's not necessarily affirmation and positive thinking, is it? No, we're going to a different level, right? Is it?
Yeah. So those things are very important because they keep you happy, they keep you focused, and they give you something to focus on. But that's not really it. Really the power is in our mind. So our thoughts are creating our reality, but our thoughts and our feelings. So what you feel is based on what you think. So when we keep trying to say affirmations like, I love myself, I'm rich, I'm happy, you've got a program inside of you and it's saying, no, you're not, you're miserable, no, you're not. So you're just throwing them out, and they keep saying, fake it till you make it. But I don't believe in that, because you can keep telling yourself over and over again with repetition, and eventually you'll come to believe it. But I think if you know the foundations from the beginning, then it's much easier to have the awareness of what you're doing and why you're doing it in the first place.
That makes so much sense. And, it's one thing for us to hear things that make sense, and then another thing for us to practice things that make sense.
Totally. Yeah,
and I know that that's part of your book here as well, is that obviously there's lots of instruction in here, but you still there's a doing part of it. There's a doing
everything. I mean, if you go to the gym and you want a 6-pack or an 8-pack, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and focusing and is a skill. And so is awareness. So it's like a muscle. You have to work at it and build on it every day. But the reason why it's so important is because when you actually understand, and when you actually start getting in control of yourself, and you can start seeing that you're creating your whole life, then it doesn't become a chore. It becomes not even a necessity. It becomes a game. It's fun, because you're taking back control, you're taking back power. So you're not resilient to, you're not responding to external conditions. You actually understand that whatever's happening around you, you're creating it, how you're creating it, and how you can change it. And that's powerful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Now, listen, before we move to the next part of this, and I appreciate that clarification on that and so on. This is something I've not actually done before, but I want to make sure that just in case, I want to just put up a quick little trigger warning for anyone if we cover a little bit of language of violence or abuse, anything of that nature right now. I just want to give you a little warning on that. We won't go too graphic about that at all, but it's in context here, and maybe it leads me to at least you sharing a little bit of context of some of the trauma that you've experienced, because it will lead me to a question. So I'm not asking, I'm not asking you to go deep into this for right now.
Definitely.
And I don't want to belittle it, because I know it's really shaped and formed you. But talk a little bit about some of the severe trauma that you've had, so that we can kind of put it in context of the next question.
Well, like you said, we've all had a life, we've all had history, we've all had life experiences. But at the time when things are happening to us, we're subconscious, we're unconscious of them. So we just feel they're part of our life journey. But for me, I can't say, looking back now, I wouldn't say it's abuse. it's like when you get to know certain elements of your parents and what they went through, you can understand how they behaved and were with yourself. So most parents and most people are only regurgitating life experiences of what they had done to them as they were children. So it's not because, you know, we have these experiences and we think, oh, it's because I'm unworthy or I'm unlovable. It's not. People are just unconscious in their actions. So for myself, I used to wet the bed every day when I was a little girl. And my mother was brought up by the nuns and she used to wet the bed. Her mother had died at a very young age and she had a lot of violence and a lot of abuse that had happened to her when she was in the nunnery. So her pattern was sort of like bringing that to me a little bit. So when I used to wet the bed, I used to get hit all the time and told I was dirty and disgusting. Sort of a lot of fear, as in sort of like if I was to carry food into the house, everything had to be perfect. And we were basically brought up to that, you know, our only job really on life was to be subservient to a man. That's what we were here for, basically. But certain little programming that I had from a young age, I formed the belief that I was unworthy. So because of that, it was the meaning that I gave to everything. So from that, then every relationship I had, I went into abusive relationships, very controlling relationships. And if there was a room of 500 men, I'd find the one man that would be, you know, that would literally be the person that wouldn't be nice to me. But I needed that because that was my belief system. So, you know, if you have a belief, it always has to be shown to you. It has to become part of your reality. So some of the relationships that I had entered into, you know, quite a few years ago, was I would be locked in a cupboard into a tiny little room with a baby's potty because I was too disgusting to be seen, or I had to sit facing the wall and I wasn't allowed to turn around or talk. And if I did, I'd get something thrown at me. I'd get shot with a BB gun because it was fun. I was thrown down the stairs, stupid little things, and constantly living my life in fear. Even down to the clothes I wore, I'd have to have 100 lights on me. I'd have to turn around to make sure my legs can be seen. Nothing was showing. I wasn't allowed to drive. Wasn't allowed to have you know, my own bank account. And it was very much. It was like, you know, if you can think of the way Hitler controlled a lot of people, it's that mindset. It's that constant drip, drip, drip every day. So for me, it was normality. I didn't know any different. And when people used to say to me, you know, what's wrong with you? I would get really upset because I didn't know what they meant. That was normal to me. So that was my pattern of sort of like growing up and sort of like relationship wise and everything else. Eventually, when I left my relationship, I thought then life would be different and it would change. But then I started abusing myself very badly because I needed it. It was part of my identity. So my identity was I didn't feel comfortable unless I was being abused or shouted at or something. So it was part of who I was. So I went on to develop a very severe bulimia for 10 years. And nobody really knew about it because I hid it. So I used to be sick 5 times a day. And as I was being sick, I'd say the same words over myself. You're dirty, you're disgusting. And you know, and that's where it was. I ended up like absolutely hating myself. So the problem I had was the identity that I had and how I saw myself. But anyone along my life path, as I was growing up, I always had great compassion for them. So from a very young age, I always knew why people were behaving the way they did, because they were broken or they had a lack of love. So I had so much love for them, but I then took it all within me and I actually started hating myself. So that's where the journey all began.
Wow. Listen, I appreciate you sharing that. That's, yeah.
I want to share because I really want I want to show other people, like, no matter what situation you're in, how you can transform it. You know, so I know I healed myself of the bulimia, and I healed myself of the tumors, and I healed myself of all my bodily conditions that I was having. So that's why it's really important. So that you know, it wasn't even a negative that happened to me. You know, from a young age, when I was 4, I wanted to, and I had this vision and mission that I wanted to heal all pain and suffering in the world. And I understood then, as the journey was going on, how could I heal pain and suffering unless I'd been to the depths of hell myself and experienced it? So I could feel it and I knew it. So I really realized that life isn't happening to you, life is happening for you. You know, there's a process to life, and everything is happening for you, even though you can't actually correlate it at the time when you're in something. It's when you get out of it, you know.
Yeah, that's a very moving, and again, you know, hey, that's just another conversation for us in the future. I didn't want to belittle it, and I wanted to warn everyone about that. But I mean, you speak from tremendous experience, I should say, and awareness of what these words mean. This is why I wanted to put it in context for everyone, so that when they hear that you can speak to your truth and your story, then perhaps they'll gain the courage to be able to share it even with one person. Speaking of sharing with one person, there's a beautiful lady I wanted to bring into this show and have the opportunity to speak with you, Mimi, because I just thought, you know what, people are tired of hearing me talk all the time. So listen, I wanted to bring in a really good friend of mine who was again another story that you could literally write an encyclopedia on when it comes to trauma and PTSD, and she speaks of that language, and she helps a lot of people in that world with her beautiful writing. And she is also an author, and so she has a beautiful website that you can visit and see her writing and all that kind of stuff. So I want to bring her in to ask a question of you, and she knows what she's talking about. She's been there, done that. So I've had her on the show before, and she's such a great supporter of the show. I so appreciate having her here. Melody 𝗟𝗶𝘁𝗵, how are you?
Hello. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
It's so good to see you. You're awesome. Hey, listen, you're such a great fan of the show, and you're always so supportive of everything we're doing here at Red TV. Just a shout out right there to you right away. I just want to say, everything okay with your family? Is everything all right? That's the most important thing.
Yes. We're all doing good.
Fantastic. I love it. And one thing I wanted to say to you publicly as well, thank you for all the things that you do on LinkedIn and using your voice as a force for good. You talk about PTSD, you talk about veterans, you talk about things that really are really uncomfortable for people, but you do it in such a really nice, gentle way that we can all ponder in and sit in and hold the space for. So I appreciate that very much for you to be here and for all that you do. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that right up front. And
Thank
that
you.
beautiful accent from Massachusetts, how do you go wrong with that? Good to see you. How about a question for Mimi? And Mimi, this is beautiful Melody, and Melody, this is Mimi.
Lovely to meet you, Melody.
Hi, Mimi.
Hello, lovely to meet you.
How do you get people to understand that PTSD is not something that's permanent, that you just have to live with, that it's something you can heal from?
Yeah, I think that's a really big question, because you know, with my line of work, it's very difficult because we've been conditioned to believe a certain truth in life since we were little. We have our belief systems instilled on us that, you know, that if you're sick, you need a doctor. If you're ill, these things happen to you. And then we have, you know, visually around us, we have people that have been ill, so we can correlate that. So that then builds that belief system even firmer. But like Melanie, it's difficult. It's about knowledge and understanding. It's about really teaching people that there is a cure for everything, and the answer is yourself. You know, the answer is you, the problem is you, and the solution is you. And when we can understand that, then we can really get rid of all the sickness and disease in the world. There would be no war or anything else if everybody just realized that everything's coming from yourself. And if we could teach it in a way that is easy for people to understand, rather than, you know, going back to inner child and everything else, we just need a new foundation, a new paradigm for people to be able to understand. And I think it's knowledge and information that gives people that ability to then put it into practice in their own lives. So yeah, I think it's just finding the language that people can understand and resonate when you speak.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that it's a permanent thing that they just have to live with. And I found for myself that that's not true. But I spent most of my life believing it was true. And I had a pancake pile full of traumas from the time I was a baby. And the PTSD and anxiety were what I was diagnosed with. And I just thought I had to live with it. And then I started seeing that, well, maybe if we start learning other things, get our mind off it,
Yeah.
we can even not just get our mind off it, but we can find tools that can help us heal. And
Yeah.
I have found that healing. So when I talk to somebody who finds now that they have PTSD, they think it's a permanent thing that they'll just have to live with and just have to be a survivor for. And I know you can go beyond surviving, because
Definitely.
I am.
Yeah, totally. And I totally agree with you. And I think, like, you know, one thing I've realized is that everybody's on their own life journey. And when people are ready, they will learn and they will change. But, you know, one thing it doesn't matter how much knowledge and information you have. And even for people that you love so dearly that you want to help and save and transform their lives, that's not really our job. Our job is just to hold them in love. And we have to respect that everyone's on their own life journey. And it's not our place to change anybody. It's not, because it doesn't mean that we've got all the answers. You know, what might work for me, might work for you, might not work for someone else. And, you know, it's like telling people that you don't need anything externally. Sometimes some people might need that four-leaf clover or that horseshoe, because they need to believe in something, where the belief is inside of yourself. But some people don't have that faith and that foundation to be able to go within and have that belief. So whatever works for you, then, you know, then pick it up and use that tool for yourself.
Right.
Fantastic. Melody, you know how I feel about you. You are awesome. I'm just so proud of you. You, again, I remember very quickly, everybody, we met a couple of years ago for the very first time that she ever went on camera, on live. And you were such a trooper. It took so much courage for you. And now look at you. You're running. You have the socialcommentary.com, everybody. I put it along the bottom there. She's a content writer. She's a speaker. She writes great content about PTSD and overcoming and encouraging others. The social-commentary.com. So make sure you go out and check that out. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you stick around.
Thank you so much. Good to see you too.
It's so good to see you. We'll see you. We'll talk again real soon. Don't you worry about that.
Okay.
We'll talk
Thanks.
soon.
Thank you, Melanie.
How cool is that? That is cool stuff.
Yeah,
thank you for taking that question. I know that I just kind of threw that at you, but
no, she's lovely. It's difficult, like you said, but you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. And a lot of things that happen to us is because of our own expectations as well. So when we can drop our own expectations of people aren't going to believe us, or that it's going to be difficult, you know, that's a lot of that comes from ourselves as well. And then we get the proof to back up what we're thinking. Our thoughts are that powerful that we have no comprehension of how they actually work and how they're actually creating. We think it's outside things that are happening to us, but it's not. It's all coming from ourselves and the vibrational signature that we're putting out there. So.
Gosh, that is so. I heard everything you said. It made sense. It's not, and I'm telling you, that is the journey, isn't it? The journey between this place and this place.
Yeah, totally.
It's the longest journey. A couple of shout outs here. I want to make sure that we're acknowledging, listen, everybody who's watching and thrown into the comments, you know, I appreciate it. I really super appreciate you being here. I need a second screen from StreamYard for you guys to add something so that we can have this tickering all the time. Just throwing it out there to you. Hey, listen, some of us got to run shows here. Come on, let's go. I just want to make sure that everyone is being acknowledged as best we can. So thank you for being here. I see a couple cool things. Brian Schulman, good to see you, my friend. Do One Give Day. Another shout out to Jacqueline. So good to see you, my fine friend. Another Vibe Your Tribe. Check this guy out. He's been on like LinkedIn forever. So I think when they made it, he was there. He was there, something like that. So, which is fantastic. And absolutely about this, what an amazing appropriate card for today. I know it's all about building community and stuff. So I super appreciate that. Let's see who else is here. Mariah, good to see you, my fine friend. Another great book. Mimi, this is another author who has something called Journey Well. So, and they just released the book this month. So I'm excited for them. It says, Mimi Bland, exceptional insights about parents bringing their children up in a way that they were brought up. So your personal story there about how it was affecting you and so on. Here's a little peekaboo from my good friend, Daniel Hall. Good to see you, my fine friend. Marilyn's in the house. Peekaboo, everyone check out this fine young man. Mimi, his story is unbelievable.
Wow.
trauma as a young person, and now has adopted as many as 6
Wow.
special needs children.
Unbelievable.
Just unbelievable. So big shout out to him. I wanted to make sure he was there as well. At the end of the day, we all want to be heard, if we have not, if you have enough people continue to show up listening to you, you start to listen to them, heal, and eventually inspire change. So to your point, Mimi, that you talked about, is that you heard so many negative things. It took so long for you to kind of turn it around and so on. I want to ask you that question, kind of piggybacking off Melody.
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we overcome that early trauma in our lives? What are some of the kind of couple points that people could take away with overcoming trauma in their early life?
Well, I think when we understand that how we're creating, like we're so fixated on a story, we're always talking about what we don't want because it's like programmed into us. So if we meet people, if we're talking to our friends, we're always talking about the negative side of things, like what we don't want to experience or what we did experience. And, what we experienced as children, those emotions are stuck inside of us, and all they're trying to do is find an outlet to let go, to because we suppress them and they just want to get out of us. But when we keep retelling, that's why when people go to therapy, for me, I find it doesn't work, because all we're doing is keep reiterating the story about what went wrong, how things are, and that's not where the power is, because all we're doing is keeping alive the very thing that we don't want to experience anymore. So when we understand that with awareness, developing awareness is really the first step to transforming your life, because you're developing an awareness of yourself, of how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're behaving in your actions. Because when you can start monitoring and seeing the way you respond, then you can start stepping in and changing that program that's running you. And you can understand that, we have a mind and we have a body, but we're not our mind and we're not our body, and we can step out of it rather than keep allowing that to dictate and control us. So the first step, I'd say definitely, Peter, is having awareness of yourself.
Yeah, self-awareness, and I'm working on it. I'm hoping you're going to help me with that. I hope you help me with that. But you gotta take me there. And again, I know the book is giving me the answer already. I'll talk about that little picture behind me, that pillow behind me later. Yeah, I know. Don't go there yet. Don't go there yet. Okay, let's move along to how we met. I mean, we met on Clubhouse. It was through this concept. I know it was through, again, Jacqueline Way, 365 Give. Yeah. Again, today is Do One Give Day, everybody, April 28th, 2022. Get out there and do something good, everybody. And we met through Clubhouse and so on. And I know that you host a room every week on Clubhouse, talking about thoughts or things, and then you have a subtext to the conversation. You've been connecting with people around the world, including me. Tell us about that experience with thoughts or things and your Clubhouse experience, and why that matters to you, because I know I've been in the room. You put a lot into it. Why does that matter to you, about thoughts or things?
Yeah, well, how that room came about was that Garth Sanford, who runs a gratitude room, and that's now a 24-hour room that's doing some phenomenal transformations in people. He had a dream, and he dreamt that he needed to start this room. So he had the dream, and then when we spoke together in another room, he knew that I had to run that room with him. But he was too embarrassed to come and ask me, because we'd never met, we'd never spoken. And he thought, she's never going to say yes. But he approached me, and I said immediately yes, because I don't know why, I just knew that it was something that I had to do. I had that intuitive feeling that I was drawn to do that. So when we set the room up, Thoughts Become Things in the Get Up and Grow room, Tony Rodriguez, we use that room. We have a subtitle every week, but the subtitle is usually something that I dream about, and I'll phone him and I say, okay, this is this week's topic. But it's been a phenomenal room, and you've been part of it, and there's been lots of healings in that room. That room's just, Jacqueline comes in there as well as a moderator, and we hold a space of love. So when people come into that room, they're just held. And I don't know why, it's just been a phenomenal room, and it's been amazing. And yeah, I do believe that, when we're meant to go in a direction, if we have the awareness and we're open, then we're always led to where we need to go. We're led the next step, and the next step. And we all have a vision and a mission in our lives. And I had one since I was 4, and I just feel like the universe is just taking me there, and I can see it unfolding in the ways of how it's meant to be. So it's a very beautiful process if you trust the process of life as well.
Trust the process, and trusting having someone reach out to you and say, hey, I got an idea and I'd love to connect with you and so on. I want to make sure that I do a lot of homework on this show and so on. So I want to make sure that I hear it from the horse's mouth if the story is true. Let's bring in this beautiful guy. Sanford, how are you, my fine friend?
I am doing fantastic. I'm excited to be here.
Good to see you, my friend. We've never met before, so it's good to see you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
And
am.
now, tell me, are you in Barbados?
Yes, I am. I am in Barbados.
Oh man, this Bottom Bay Beach, bring it on. Bottom
Bay Beach. You name it all. They're all here.
I've been there. I've been to Barbados. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So get ready. I'm coming back. Good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you. And Mimi, and again, thank you for joining us. Last minute kind of thing and putting this together. Have you guys actually done this before? Have you met before?
Oh yeah, we talk for hours. Every time our room's finished, we phone each other, and it's like a 3-hour phone conversation. Don't we? Never got off the telephone. So
that is fantastic.
And what's amazing about that is, for me, it's like only about 7 p.m., but for her, it's like 11:30 at night.
Right. No, I totally relate to that. Hey, listen, good to see. I so appreciate you tuning in, and I just wanted to ask you that question. I wanted to talk to you about your connection with Mimi and thoughts or things and so on. Why was that a calling for you to reach out to Mimi and want Mimi involved with this project of yours on Clubhouse?
Well, what she just said was pretty accurate. I literally had a dream. I think it was about 2:26 a.m. One morning, and in the dream it said, "Thoughts become things, Mimi Bland." And so I got up out of my sleep. I opened up my phone. I went into Evernote and I wrote it down. I said, "Well, I don't know her, and you're probably gonna think I'm a lunatic." But I said I have to follow through, because so many other things I've dreamt and I followed through them, and they worked out well. So when I had met her through a mutual friend, Alan Klinghines, and we were in a room together. I think we were in a room. I was in a room with her twice, and I didn't really know anything about her, but the dream was very clear. It was Thoughts Become Things was the title, and Mimi Bland. And so I said, well, it took me a few days, but then I said I have to reach out to her. So I reached out to her, and I was nervous, and I didn't know, because to me she was a celebrity. She was
Hey.
She was big, larger than life. Yeah. She was larger than life, and I said, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'll ask, and I mean, the worst thing she can say is no. And I don't even think I finished. She responded back, absolutely. I said, well, let's get together and have a chat to talk about it. And when we wanted to start, and we started, and I think our first room was first 2 rooms were incredible.
yeah.
And past week we did our 45th room together.
Wow.
That's 45 weeks.
Yeah, I've tuned in a couple times, and I'm going to tell you what's always fascinating for me, and because I know this, maybe you noticed this, but when I'm in your rooms, I'm very emotional. I don't know what it is. I get super emotional. I listen to Mimi. I listen to some other stories. I listen to some of your other co-hosts as well, moderators as they call them in Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And I just get super emotional. And as you can see, I'm a little bit more gregarious when I'm not doing what I do. So I know I say that in a very kind way, because it's touching people in a different way, because I know it's touching me the way that you suggested, and that the intention of the room is as well. Mimi, talk about your connection with Garth, and how this has played out for you, and why and why people should tune in. Again, I'm not. There's so many things that people can listen to and tune into and watch that I could literally sit here for hours to promote individual shows all the time. But there is something special about the space that you guys hold, and I am encouraging people to go to Clubhouse to check it out. So tell us how that has impacted your life, and why it's so important that you and Garth keep going with it.
Yeah, Garth is he has a very special place in my heart. I love him. He's an amazing person, and I do believe that we're all light workers in this world. We all have the same ability. We all have the same gift. Sometimes we just don't tap into it. And I had a lot of fear inside of me, self-doubt, and I was very unsure of myself. So when Garth met me the first time in Clubhouse, my friend Alan had invited me into that room, and I wouldn't speak. And he said, open your mouth. And I'm like, I don't want to speak. Don't bring me up on stage. And that's where Garth met me, and that's where he heard my name. I then went on to realize that there was a bigger mission involved. I really believe that God put me in that room at that time. Garth was there, and that's where the story then started unfolding. And what Garth does for me, he gives me so much love and support, and he sees things in me when we first started working together that I didn't believe in myself to a degree. And he was telling me so many amazing things, and he does still to this day. So I've bloomed like a little flower because of our amazing friendship. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to death, and he has the purest heart. So sometimes, like, you have the people around you, and now I find like I'm attracting a lot more people like Garth, and they really help to elevate you so that you can get your message out into the world and do what, you know, we're all here to do, to help one another. So it's been an amazing process. Yeah,
I love that. That must touch your heart a little bit there, my fine friend. Yes, to have someone speak like that, someone you were scared to reach out to.
I was actually shocked when she said yes. However, you know, everything in life happens for a reason, and sometimes we don't understand until weeks later. And it was probably maybe a month in the collaboration that we started to have that I actually started to understand why she showed up. And as she said, we're both helping each other. And when I tell you, she would not talk. I would say, Mimi, you have to talk. I mean, you can't just sit through the whole entire room. And now, if I can get a word in edgewise, I'm lucky.
I knew something. I knew that was coming. I knew something was coming.
Yeah. But you know, what's beautiful about the whole experience is this. We pitch and catch off of each other really well. And there was a time in the beginning where I intentionally just stepped back and kind of forced her to just grow into that role. And then eventually she did. And one of the things I've always had, and I do this with everyone, even my clients, is that I see what they're capable of, and I treat them from that place. I don't talk to them as though they can't do something. I talk to them, I know you can do this. I know you got this, and let's just do it. And I see that possibility, and they live into that possibility every single time. And Mimi wasn't any different. You know, she is wonderful. Her ideas, her thoughts, what the contribution she makes, the heart she has a huge heart. I mean, I don't think the screen could get her heart into the screen. It's just so large, and the impact. And then after a while, we started to realize that, you know, we're not just doing this for ourselves, but we're doing this for our listeners, the people that come in, and the conversations that we have. And there's been so many people, thousands of people at this point now, and we're, you know, in another, you know, 15 or so weeks, you know, we're gonna be celebrating a year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what our plan is for that. And like she said, we dream our subtopics. We dream them. We literally have dreams. And I wake up in the morning, it's 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. my time, and it's probably 10 a.m. her time. And I'm like, I had a dream, and these things came to me. You want to talk about them? What do you think? And I would just send her the list of things, and she said, okay, I like that one. Or she will come back to me and she said, oh, I had this topic. I want to talk about this topic. I dreamt this topic. And we just do it. And that was our last room. What's holding you back? That was her topic. And it really is a conversation about our lives. The subtopics that we have are things that we are actually working through, things that we're finding the answers for, or we found the answers for, or we want to hear what other people have to say. But most of the times it's stuff that we're working through. So we are the topic of conversation. Most people don't know that, but we are the ones that we're trying to figure it out too.
Yeah.
So when we are on the in the room or show, we are asking ourselves the questions to the question or the title that we put up there. You know, and this one, what's holding you back? And we're telling you what we think is holding me back, what's holding her back, and then we get insight, and before you know it, we have this wonderful conversation. And what's amazing to me is the number of people that are consistently showing up in our room. You're one of them, and the impact that we're having. And if I ever had to say anything to anyone, don't ever take for granted the impact that you can have in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Because that little small mind that's in our head that says that we can't do something is a liar.
Yeah.
And we can't listen to it because the big mind's got big things for us, and we really need to focus on those things. And so I often say to people, listen, if you got a thought, you had that thought for a reason, and that thought wants to serve you, and it wants to serve the world. So let it serve you and the world, and you'll be amazed at how your life is going to transform. And now one last thing, the way we kind of flow in our conversation, she will pick up where I leave off, and I'll pick up where she leaves off. And it's like this collaboration and this experience that we have that just makes it for such a beautiful engagement with her. So I am truly honored to be a partner with her in this Thoughts Become Things room. So thank you. And I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Listen, my friend, it's good to see you face to face. I mean, we've chatted a few times. You've actually WhatsApped me, and I appreciate that. You shared your number with me, and I appreciate that. That's a lot of trust as well. And I thank you for all of the things that you've ever said on in the different rooms to me. I just want to put that out there in public because just as you said, you don't know the words that you're saying at a very particular time meet somebody at a very particular moment in time. And I know that is for me. Obviously I like to speak a lot, but I love to listen a lot because I just recognize how little I know as the older I get. So when you say things to me, yeah, I see that above you. Listen. Thank you for tuning in. I got we haven't even touched her book yet. We got to get to that. Hope you stick around and watch the rest of the show. Stay with us, throw in some comments. Listen, I just want to say I'm going to keep tuning in on Tuesdays. I put the information on the bottom there. People can go out to Clubhouse. It's an audio app. Go on and download the app. Set up your account. If you're already on there, you know what I'm talking about. You can find Mimi at Mimi Bland, and of course you can find yours, which is Big Warrior Heart. Big Warrior Heart. I love it. I love that. Heart's a very sensitive word with me these days, so I appreciate it. Garth, listen, I'm coming to Barbados. Don't know when.
We're coming, Peter.
We're going. Yeah, right. We're going. So, Garth, thank you for tuning in, man, and we will see you again very soon. Okay, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Cheers, mate. There you go. Hey, a little surprise for you.
Amazing. He's
super cool guy. And again, I appreciate the things that I've learned through the room as well. Hey, listen, just want to throw out everyone that's tuning in. I think that's called serendipity. How amazing to have wonderful dreams. Yeah. So the fact that he had a dream and it introduced him to having the courage to call you. Courage is another one of my favorite words, by the way, just so you know. Courageous is another word. We got to get to your book. Hey, let's jump right here, everybody. That's one of the reasons we're here chatting so much is we're trying to find the answer. And I guess the answer is you, everybody, just so you know. I just gave it away, everybody. Now you know the answer. The answer is you, just in case you didn't know. But let's jump to that real quick. There's so much to talk about, but it's available on Amazon. So I'm going to make sure everyone knows that. There's so much information inside the book. Let me just get the information up here for everybody. Here it is. I'm going to put a little bit of the description along the bottom there for you so everyone can kind of tune in. Let's jump to something that stuck out for me in the book. And there's 2 or 3 things. Again, there's so much to talk about, but let's just jump to 2 or 3 things if we can, Mimi. One of the quotes here, chapter 4, starts off, you create everything that happens in your life. That seems like a painfully obvious thing, but some people don't think that. So talk to me about this chapter 4 here, how you create your reality. You create everything that happens in your life. I'm going to tell you something, just being honest. I don't know if that's true all the time. And I know it's true, but
of course. And it's a very hard concept for us to get our heads around because you think, well, why would we don't want certain things to happen. It's not like we go out and want certain aspects, but what we don't understand is that if you're feeling needy, if you're feeling low, if you're feeling lonely, then those feelings then attract more situations that will then bring back into your life the people, the situations that match your vibration. So we have a vibration. A vibration is created by the way we think and our feelings. It just vibrates out like a magnet. And that signal then will draw into you other people, situations that are on the same frequency as you are. So that's why when you're having a bad day and say, for instance, you drop the milk on the floor and you're angry, then you get frustrated, throughout your day, you'll find that you get more angry and frustrated situations that then come into you. So it's just becoming the awareness of how you are actually creating. Because I wouldn't have known, I mean, unless I would have gone on a journey. You know, I trained in NLP, life coaching, hypnotherapy, Reiki, emotional freedom, you name it. I trained in everything because I was trying to help myself. I didn't understand like how I could overcome these feelings and this thought process and you know, that I kept being stuck in. And everything helped for a little while. It was a layer. You know, you go somewhere, you feel good for a couple of days, and then you go back to the program. So I wanted a deeper understanding, and I was very spiritual. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I had these gifts and visions from a very young age. So I went on a spiritual journey, 20 odd years, reading the Bible and every single thing I could get my hands on, until I really had a firm understanding of what creation is all about. So if you think to yourself that creation is complete, everything is already created, it's done. It tells us that creation is complete. So the only thing that whatever we want and we desire, we can have right this moment. So it's only us that's stopping it from coming into our lives by the thoughts we think and the beliefs that we have. So our life experiences dictate our vision, the way we see things, how we feel about things. So when you can understand that, you can then go in and start changing it, because we all know what we want. People say, I don't know. You do know. We all know. And, you know, since you was a child, you've known what makes you happy. You know what makes you sad. And it's our emotions. We have like a sat navigation system already built inside of us, which is always constantly trying to direct us back to ourselves. But we sometimes override it because we think, I can't do that because of this responsibility, or I have this, you know, this going on in my life. So we're fighting against ourselves continuously. And that's why most people have anxiety, or they're depressed, or they're unhappy, because they're not living the life they truly want to live. And we are here to live a joyful life experience. That is our life purpose. It's quite simple.
Oh gosh, yeah. Listen, I hear this stuff. I'm telling you, I'm a student of this stuff. And when I say this stuff, I'm not belittling it. I'm telling you that's the mindset. But it's as you said, it is daily. It is moment to moment reminder of all the things that you just mentioned there beautifully. This idea that is our life intention, you know, our purpose, if you will. I want to make sure that looky here, we just want to make sure that we get the book information up there for everybody. Hey, this looks familiar to me. This is a cool little thing that came across my desk the other day.
Yes, somebody was a great designer. I'm not sure who designed that, but it was absolutely amazing.
I don't know who did such a thing, but that is a beautiful looking little promo there. But I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. There's the example right there. Let's see, I'll turn that down a little tiny bit for you. But, you know, again, it's on Amazon, everybody. You can order it through her website, Mimi's website, 𝗵𝗵𝗏.London, of course. There are the 5-star reviews you can see, and I'm sure there's many, many more that you can see as well. And beautiful cover, beautiful book. Thank you for sending it to me, so I have the real thing. And hey, that's a beautiful promo, just so you know, everybody. That's a beautiful promo. Where would you get such a thing? We don't know, but hey, it's good to see good to see this. I mean, again, I'm so happy for you, because I know how hard it is to get a book published and to get it out there, and actually to get it on paper and to physically say, I have a book and it's done and I want to release it to the world. That is a very difficult thing. So
well, that book actually came through me within 7 days. I wrote that book in 7 days and got it published because, you know, Peter, like I said, words don't teach. Words are just words, but life experience teaches you. And when you learn to tap in, when you learn that, you know, that who you are and how to disconnect from the world and go within and tap into your true power, that's when everything flows, because all the information that you need is out there. We just have to tap in so that we can allow it to flow through us. And I wanted a really simple book. I think it's only about sort of 79, 80 pages long. But I wanted the basics that people could really understand, strip all the stuff back about inner child, go back in healing, CBT, all this stuff. Let's just make it really simple so anyone can understand from the moment you wake up, like how we create, how our thoughts and emotions create, what happens to us, and how we can really get back to our true authentic selves. There's lessons and steps in there, but those things we don't really need if you actually understand the foundation of who you are. But when you don't, you have like tools, you have to start incorporating them into your life so you can build that muscle. Because at the end of the day, all we are all seeking for is ourselves. That's it. That's all we're, whatever we want in life, we want because it gives us a feeling, because we're feeling beings. So we want that person to love us because it makes us feel good. But when you understand that person isn't really the reason why you're feeling the love, they're just representing the love that's inside of you. So when you start loving yourself, when you start giving yourself everything that you're seeking on the external, then anything that happens externally just fills you up. It doesn't ever take away from you. So if someone leaves you, it doesn't break you. It's just an experience. Of course, you'll be upset because you love them and you had emotions for them, but it doesn't break you. It's just a life experience. And that's where we all go wrong. We're looking for external things to fill the internal void of what we're really seeking is ourselves.
Oh, super well said. Hey, just so you know, should be an audiobook. Got to be an audiobook, just so you know. There it is, everybody. Let me just jump to another quick thing that, and the reason I'm doing this is getting therapy right here, everybody. Just live. Stay with me. Stay along with me, everybody. Chapter 5, reconstructing your self-image. Right away, that resonates with me because of that infamous imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
For me. So I'm just referring to me, this imposter syndrome, this concept of, but this idea of reconstructing your self-image, talk a little bit about that for anyone out there that's trying to, how people see you and then how you see yourself, or how people speak to you and how you speak to yourself. Wow. 2 different things.
Yeah.
That.
The majority of our identity was created by other people. Other people prophesized over our lives of who we were, what they said to us when we were younger, even if, it's the interpretation, the meaning we gave to everything. Because you might have 2 siblings in a home and same experience, but 2 completely different outcomes, because it's the meaning that you gave to those specific situations. So if you had a mother or a father who shouted at you or said to you, you're a dummy, you're stupid, you would then go on to think, oh my God, I can't do anything right and I can never make them happy. So it's then that then becomes a belief, and a belief is only a thought that you think about. So it becomes so compounded that then those beliefs then start attracting more things that are attached to those beliefs. So your identity is so important because you're living a life really, and you're living an identity that isn't part of who you truly are. So, when you say in the Bible, it says, die to your former self, it means die to the former self that's not true to you. So it's about letting go of all aspects that aren't you, so that you can recreate yourself in the image and the likeness of who you want to be. So it's about you connecting back to your true self, knowing your strengths, knowing your values, knowing what is important to you, and not living your life in conjunction to what other people think that you should be living. Because most people don't know who they are. I didn't know who I was for many, many years. I was a complete stranger. People would say to me, oh my God, you're pretty. And I'd be like, what? Oh my God, like, are they looking at me? I couldn't accept anything, or they'd say, you've got a gift. And I'd be like, what gift? I didn't know anything about myself. So I had to go on a journey. Life is a journey. It never ends. But now I'm starting to understand myself. I'm starting to like myself, and I know if something's, most of the time we take on situations and we go into sort of things and it's not making us happy, but we stick with it. Rather than realizing, actually, this doesn't feel good, there's no shame in moving on and doing something different. But we always feel like, that we can't do that because other people will think we're flaky or other people will judge us. And that's not what we're here for, We're always seeking external validation and approval from people. But we're not here for that, If we all minded our own business, stop looking what other people are doing and focus on ourselves and making ourselves feel good and happy, then that's part of the journey, because then you can then show that to other people, and then you can be a representation of what you're actually teaching others.
Boom. That's a boom right there. That could be a kaboom. That's a kaboom right there. Stop worrying about what other people think. When you actually realize how little people do think about you, it's actually humbling as well. You always think like, what are they thinking of me? And they're like, not even thinking at all. Not even thinking at all.
It's so true.
It's so true, right? It's so true. And hey, I want to jump to listen, we could speak all day on this, and so I'm telling everybody, hey, listen, just go and get yourself a copy of the book. And the last one here that, obviously the answer is you. Like the title of the book, chapter 7 here. That's the title of the chapter itself. But that powerful statement, and you know what I'm going to say, the powerful statement of I am. And I know, I really do. I'm such a big fan of people like Wayne Dyer, especially Wayne Dyer. I'll use Wayne Dyer as an example. The power of using I am. And I always remind myself, or try to remind myself by this phrase, if what was going, my self-talk, if my self-talk was amplified right now and broadcasted to the world, would I be proud of that?
Yeah.
And gosh, it wouldn't be, I can promise you that. And I use a lot of those words, I am, and then and my brain will tell me something that is not so positive. So I want to talk about the power of I am. Talk to me about that, and why it's so sensitive, and why we need to be very careful about using those words.
Because I think, Peter, I think really we all have to start back at bases again, because we're trying to jump in, say, on level 7 where we haven't got the foundation. You have to start back on the foundation, because if you have the foundation and it's solid, then whatever you build on top of that will stay stable. But if you're going and say, level number 7, all the foundations are rocky, so it's not sustainable. That's why the process doesn't seem to work. But it's a case of knowing who you are, what are you prophesizing over your life? But why is prophesizing so important? It's because when we were created, what was the first part of us that was created? And that was our hearts. So our hearts were created first. So if God created us, and I say God, energy, universal life force, our hearts were created first for a reason, because we are all liquid love. That's who we are. So that's how we can use it as our compass of what feels good and what feels bad, because whatever's not feeling great towards us is because it's not resonating with our true inner selves. So this body is a human being body, but we're majority of us spiritual. So the spiritual side is love, compassion, kindness, gratitude. Those things feel good to us because that's who we truly are. So the answer is you, and the great I am is because what are you putting and attaching to the words I am? Most people are saying, I'm sick, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm ill, I'm an alcoholic, I'm overweight, I'm underweight, I'm unloved, I'm poor. So how is life going to change? Because what you speak over yourself will prophesize. Your words have power, they're magical. You're drawing in again the very things that you're speaking out into your life. So that's why it's so important for people to really understand how powerful that is. And until you've had an experience, we can sit here all night and say this, that, and the other. You have to experience things for yourself. When you correlate it and you can experience it, you're like, oh my God, I can see how that's working in my life now. So I always say to people, be the change you want to see. Start the process. Start with awareness. Start journaling. Start writing things down. How you think, how you feel, and this happened. Because when you can start correlating, oh my God, wow, I thought this way and this came. Then I thought this way and this happened. So then you can then start becoming the master of your life, stepping in, because you can see it. When you can see it, you can change it. When it's just words, they're just empty words, because words don't teach. Only life experiences teaches you. So you need to start incorporating those things into your life and playing with it, making it into a game, because life is supposed to be joyful. But we're so stressed. We're so everybody's living a really stressful, unhappy life. Because like I said, number one, most people aren't living the life they truly want to live. And we're born into a world that is so negative and so depressed. Everything in the news and everything else is always showing us all the bad things in life. But life is really beautiful. So for me, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the newspapers. I create the world I want to live in. And that's all I see, because I want to see beautiful things. I want to be happy every day. So I live in the reality that I want to live in. I don't see anything else. It's not part of my reality, because I don't ever invite it in. So that might be a little bit complicated for people to understand, but it's very powerful. You are the creator of your reality, and when you can understand that everything is vibrational, then you can step in and you can start changing, because your vibrational signature, what you're outputting, you're getting back in. It's that simple. So that means how powerful are you to transform any situation in your life?
Oh, I love this, and I'm just going to give you a heads up now. That's part of our next therapy session right there. It's that because I heard everything you said.
Yeah, but you've got to stop saying therapy.
My brain is going.
Yeah,
Come on,
there's not
come on, Peter. Come on, Peter.
person in this world that's broken. No one is broken. No one needs therapy. No one is broken. Every single person just has a lack of love. If anyone that's doing anything that's painful to other people or hurtful to the world, they're just broken people with a lack of love. The more people that are filled with love, they would never do crimes. They would never hurt another person. So no one needs therapy. All we need to do is to drop everything that's not our true nature, our true selves, and return back to feeling good, being happy, and filling ourselves up with loving thoughts, happiness, and giving. Because when you give to others, you start healing yourself, because we're all here to give to one another. Everyone is just a reflection of who you are anyway. So what you see in someone else, they're reflecting back to you the aspects that you need to change about yourself, because somewhere inside of you, you've still got that feeling. They're just mirrors to you. So it's quite a simple process.
You sure make it sound simple, and I appreciate it. And listen, I'm not belittling that. I'm telling everyone it's called work, everybody. It's called work. There it is right there, everybody. The answer is you. There's the book. You can get it on Amazon, and you can or go to Mimi's website as well, of course, 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗲𝗿, everybody, just so you know. Hey, I want to ask you this question, because you've been on some unbelievable journey. I mean, an unbelievable personal journey in your life. So I'm just curious, what are you most proud of? What are you most proud of right now, these days of your journey to date? What are you most proud of?
I'm just a lover of life. I mean, if you ask my children, my son's 30 and 40, they get embarrassed coming out of me because I'm always skipping. I'm talking to the birds. I just love life. I'm a lover of life. And I think when you understand how beautiful this world is, and you turn away from the things you don't want to, it's just an amazing life. And for me, I think some of the greatest things that, it took me a long time as well, because, whenever I used to go and sit on a park bench, I never wanted to do this as a business ever at all. But I would sit on a park bench and somebody would come and sit next to me and we'd have a conversation. And then within like half an hour, they'd say, "You've transformed my life." And I'm like, "What did I say?" And they're like, "I've been in therapy 15 years. I'm like, I don't even know what I said that changed their lives, And I think for me, working with a few people that were a couple of women, especially, and a couple of men that were suicidal. I mean, they didn't want to be here. They didn't want to live anymore. They had some traumatic experiences that were resurrected through certain things. And they tried maybe 5-6 times to kill themselves unsuccessfully. And then they asked me to go and see them. And I think after like a 3-hour conversation with them, watching them, because I can see it. I can see the moment in front of me when something's changed. Their perception, their consciousness is changed, it's shifted, and they're never going to be the same ever again. And to witness that's amazing for me, especially like when they're young or they've got families, and you think it's just that mindset, it's just that little box, that story, that perception. That's all that's keeping you in pain and suffering. And when you can just see it in a different way, a different meaning, a different outlook, and you're free, because all you're doing is setting yourself free. Because, I love the concept, like, as I was saying, like, creation is complete, but we're not born and waiting and dying to go to heaven. We're born into heaven. This is heaven. It really is. But hell is also 2 parts of ourselves, and we keep ourselves in hell. So all we've got to do is like just to be very conscious of how we are keeping ourselves in pain and suffering from our own thoughts, from the way we're thinking and feeling. Because we have the ability 24 hours each and every day to wake up and change our lives. Every day, like Groundhog. I love that movie, Groundhog, the movie. Have you seen it? I love that movie. I love that movie. Just, you don't have to go back. You never have to go back. God we've got eyes in front of us, because keep looking forward. Like if you're creating too much into the future, you could then have anxiety and depression, because you're factoring in parts of your past and you're taking those experiences into the future. So you're prophesizing all the things that are going to go wrong. But our point of power is right here, right now. Here is where our power is, because we're in control of the thoughts and the emotions that we're generating now. So how powerful is that? So any thoughts that are coming up, you can refuse to accept them. You don't have to listen to them. You can say, "Thank you for sharing, but I don't want those thoughts. Thank you." Because acknowledge them, because they're trying to keep you safe. That's all it is. They're trying to keep you safe. And any negative emotion that you've buried inside of you since you was a child, when it comes up and you feel that anger or that jealousy or that hatred or whatever it is, just open your arms and open your heart, because it just wants to come through you. Don't judge it. Don't just allow it the space to breathe and let it flow through. And every time you do that, you weaken it, and it then takes away all the little tentacles of everything that's been holding on to, all the memories from the past. It just disintegrates. But the one last thing I have to say is you have to have a vision of your future. Most people do not have a vision. They have no clarity in what they want and where they're going. So how can you, like if you get into a car, how can you put in, if you're not putting into the sat navigation system, you're just going to be going round and round, no destination, no journey. You don't know where you're heading. So you have to have clarity. People say to me, I want to be happy. What does happiness look like to you? Well, I want money. How much money? What do you want the money for? Be specific. Oh, I want to meet someone that loves me. Who? What values do they have? What do you want them to look like? How do you want them to treat you? Be specific. Write it down. Because when you write it down, magic happens when it comes through you onto the paper. It's magic. And then when you go back through your like vision boards and things you've written, next year you're like, wow, every single thing, everyone came true. So, you know, but don't hold on to it. Just let it go, because it's not your job in the how. Your job is just to know what you want and then to keep that momentum of happiness going. You don't even have to focus on what you want. Just be happy, because that vibration is magnetic and it brings and draws to you all the people and the circumstances on that vibration. Sorry, I could go on forever.
I know, it's all good. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I was going to jump in and say that I think I had a breakthrough right there. Is that I really do love Groundhog Day. And so I think maybe that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm just, I think of a whole bunch of things that I've been through, and I go back and play the same one over again and go, yeah, I could have done that. I could have done that. And it's literally as he does in the show, just repeats different things and so on. The other thing you said resonates with me too, because I heard the old saying about, you know, heaven on earth and heaven and hell and stuff. And the idea is, of course, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. So let's live. Let's just keep living. Let's keep going here. How about this one right here? Before we jump into some fun stuff, I've told you I'm going to try. Listen, I try to keep my shows to an hour. Yeah. I really do. I just want people to know that I'm changing the format in the future, just so you know, Mimi. I am changing the format of the show. because these deep dives, I could do these 3-4 hour shows easily. But anyway, I won't keep you very much longer, but I wanted to ask you this question, because it's been a very difficult time last 2 years, but you know, life in general right now. Look what's happening over in Europe right now. Just so much suffering in the world, and it's not just Ukraine, it's all kinds of different places in the world. And of course, you speak to people around the world in Clubhouse with Garth, and so you have a temperature for this of how much maybe suffering there might be going on in the world right now. I'm wondering what keeps you optimistic these days. What keeps you feeling optimistic and hopeful these days?
Well, all I say, Peter, is that, you know, Mother Teresa always used to say that she would never join a rally for cancer, for war, for anything else. And there's a reason for that. Because if you think about it, if creation is complete and creation is perfect, what you put your focus on grows. So the more you focus on what you don't want and negative situations, you're actually adding fuel to it. So the more people, it's complete contrast of what's happening. So the more people that get involved and start, you know, anti-cancer rallies and, you know, all the sort of like the war and everything else that's happening, the real power and the real strength is not turning away. It's not about not acknowledging what's happening, but instead of looking at the problem, what's the solution? The solution is, how can we all fix this problem with love? By looking at the things that we can do to help, not out of hatred and everything else, but when people come together, like when 9/11 happened, look how the world came together. Everybody came out. They forgot who they were, their race, their nation, their job. It didn't matter. They were there to serve one another. And that's what happens when we have these catastrophes that happen in the world. They make us forget about our egotistical self. and we all come together in love for the goodness of helping the children, the mothers, and that's the power of who we truly are. The real inner inside of us all then comes together to help a bigger project. And I think, like, if we can focus and stay focused on the solutions and not get caught up with the news and all the bad press and everything that's happening and all the the pain and suffering that is happening, and what's the solution? And that's the same thing in life with everything. What's the solution? How can we fix this? How can we repair this situation? And we're only ever going to repair anything from coming from a place of love, kindness, compassion, and going down that route. Because the more fuel we put in with the hatred and the anger, that's not ever going to change any situation in the life. And I know it's really difficult because it's, well, are you blind? Can you not see the pain and suffering? Of course. But
Right.
in the Bible, and not just the Bible, and every teaching that I've ever taught in the world and I've learned in the world, it always says turn your back. Turn your back on the things you don't want to experience and focus on the creation that you do want to experience, because we're that powerful. And if enough people come away from that and start putting their attention on creating this world that we all want to live in, everything else would just fall into place, because it's energy's power. And it's hard to explain to people, but we're doing the complete opposite of what we really need to be doing.
Yeah, but there's hope and optimism in that, and the ability to hold that space. So, and you do that in Clubhouse with Garth, and you do it in your work, and of course you do it with your book as well. So I want to make sure everyone understands that. And again, you're coming from a place of experience. I mean, you're
Yeah.
and
And I don't like to teach anything that I haven't overcome myself. So when I teach bit about self-healing, it's because I cured myself of 10 years of bulimia. I cured myself of tumors and everything else that I had within my body. I cured myself. And I done that just by speaking specific words over my life. So that's why our words are powerful. The identity we have is so powerful. When I try to eliminate bulimia, and I learned about the power of mirror work, of talking to myself, into my soul, with the correct words that I wanted the outcome. My bulimia left my body within 2 days. There wasn't a trace of bulimia, and that was 10 years, and I was really sick. I'd really done some damage to myself, and I repaired all my body through it. But then when I met one of my abusers a few months later, and they said a couple of trigger words to me, I was straight back in bulimia, and I was straight back very hard on it again for a few weeks, but I wanted to come away from that again. So I tried the same process, and it didn't work. And I couldn't work out why did it work the first time and it didn't work the second time. Because the second time I didn't really want it to work. I believed what they said about me. I'd gone back down that rabbit hole of the whole disgust, the lack of self-worth. But when I then went back inside and I cleaned myself up, because everything's helping us to clean ourselves up, I then went back and done the work, and I was transformed, and I've never been bulimic ever since that day again. So we are that powerful, Peter. We really have the power is within us. We just have to tap in and learn how to utilize it.
It's walking the talk. You just said it best right there. You don't talk about things that you haven't been through. I just want to throw a couple more things out here. Absolutely. Thank you, Melody, for joining us, by the way, on the show. Envisioning life we want can bring energy of that life. Mindfulness is the key to the journey. Absolutely. And she also mentioned about listening to our soul's voice instead of the of one others give us, which of course we've all experienced that. We've all experienced that. And let's see, so many find it hard to understand this idea of others being a mirror to us. Is thought-provoking, but also can be so transforming if we stay open. That's a great comment. That could be my spouse. I hope that's Renika Mohan. If it is, take claim of it and put it here so I know it's you. Appreciate that so much. Mimi, we're not even done yet. Just so you know, I want to make sure everyone knows. Here we go. The book is Answers You. Garth is still actually hanging out. You know that? I mean, he's such a fan. He's such a fan of yours because he's never seen my show before. I know that for sure. But I know that he's tuning in for you, and he's still hanging out. I mean, he's still hanging out. If he hangs out long enough, we'll bring him back. Just I'm teasing him right now. It's not like Clubhouse. See, Clubhouse, you just kind of mute people. On these kind of shows, you put them wait in the green room and make them just hang out. But no, I love the fact that he's still here with us and enjoying the time we're having together. So I appreciate that and so on. Hey, listen, we got to figure out a little bit more about you. I'm going to give you something that this is new. I was going to send you something to read, and I really should have done it. I'm sorry. I wanted you to read something while we're here, and maybe we'll do this another time for reading purposes. But let me share this with you, and maybe you can expand on this for me, because I'm really fascinated with this. Let me go back here. Show me. Let's talk about this. Who are these? Who are these beautiful people? And what would you talk about with them today? What would you remind them right now?
Yeah, do you know what?
Tell me who all these beautiful people are, first of all. I know you're up in...
Yeah, so the top picture in the black, that was on my 50th birthday. That was nearly 9 years ago now. The picture with my sister, that was growing up. We were always very well manicured. Everything had to be perfect. My mother made all our clothes. She was a very, very clever lady. Then the picture below, a little chubby me. I used to love my food, and I used to always eat it. My mother said I was just like a pig. Nothing's changed. My children call me Dusty Bin. I'm exactly the same. On the picture on the left, that was just me starting to... I was really sort of lost then, to be honest. I wasn't even on the transformational journey. That was just me, just being subservient and just living that life, you know. The cheeky one underneath with the legs crossed, that was, people used to laugh at me, because, as I said, I had this vision from a very young age. From when I was about 5, I had the same reoccurring dream every single night. And all I used to see was, it sounds crazy, but it was Moses, it was Jesus, it was Joan of Arc, and all they would have is a plaque with my name on, saying, "Mimi, you are the chosen one." And I used to run around telling everybody, my parents, and they'd be like, "Shh, stop telling people that, you know, you can't say things like that." But that was a dream. It was something that I used to envision every single night. And yeah, looking back now, what I would say to her, if I could go back and give her any advice, is like, just never, ever, ever believe anything anyone tells you. Nothing, ever. Question every single thing that anyone tells you is truth, because it's not truth. It's even what I'm saying, don't believe what I'm saying. It is my reality, is what I've created. So question everything, and if it resonates with you, then accept it. If it doesn't, don't accept it. So when people used to say to me from a very young age about healing and about all these people that were dying, I never believed it. I never believed in death from a very young age. And I realized that there is no beginning and there's no end. We're eternal. And I had a very, very strong belief system even at that age. So all I'd say now is, like, especially the picture, when I look at the picture below, I just see very painful eyes. And I'd say, like, never lose yourself for anyone or anything. The most important thing you could ever do in life is to love yourself. Really love yourself, acknowledge yourself, accept yourself, and validate yourself, because, you know, we are all born beautiful, unique, and we're all here to forgive. We're not here to be subservient, to be beaten, to be abused, to be downtrodden, or to do anything. We accept those aspects of ourselves. And when you love yourself, you will never accept anything but the very best in life. It's very important.
Oh, beautiful message. Beautiful message. Super appreciate that. Great pictures, by the way. Hey, you are always photogenic. I can see that. That's for sure. So that's fantastic. And again, you know, there was a beautiful post that went with that in your Instagram, and I wanted you to read that. But I'm going to leave that to everybody to go to her Instagram account and just do some digging, some research. You'll find it way back. and a beautiful post, and it was very meaningful to me when I read it, and I was like, wow, this is very powerful. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Hey, we're getting close to being done. I told you, if you're going to come on this show, you're going through the ringer. This is it. This is what we do around here. We don't fool around. But, you know, it's one thing to be on Clubhouse to chat with you, and even now we're talking and so on, but we really don't know each other. Like, we don't, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know each other. Do you know what I mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know each other. And so around here, we got to figure out a little bit more about you. And I come up with something called This or That. So we're going to come play a little This or That with Mimi, because we got to get to know what's going on inside. That's dangerous. I was just going to say, I always tell my wife, don't come in here. It's a very, very scary place. We're going to play a little This or That. Boom, a little this or that. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little this or that. So it's very simple. There's no winning or losing. There's no real game here, other than I'll say two things and you just tell me which one, and then it'll give me a little bit of an idea of who I'm speaking with right now and the people watching right now. Let's start with simple ones. This is simple ones, and I could be wrong. I didn't ask you before this, so if it's not any of these, then I have another one for you. But come out and visit you. Is it whiskey or wine?
I don't drink alcohol.
Beautiful. So it's going to be either green tea or kombucha. Which is it?
Yeah, I do. I like to have an alcoholic drink. I'm awful. I can have one sip and I'm on the floor. So yeah, I'm not a great drinker, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to take you out. That sounds like a really easy, just cheap date. Well, that's fantastic.
Very cheap.
That's fantastic. How about the 60s music or 80s music?
Oh, I love the 80s.
80s, yeah. See the hair, right? I had this only a few weeks ago. I had the Bon Jovi 1987 happening, but got it all cut off a couple of weeks ago. That's another story. How about this? A documentary or an adventure movie?
I don't watch TV, but if it was, it would be. Sorry, it has to be a love movie. It has to be. I love the good old Mills and Boons. That's what I'm into. So,
okay. All right. So there you go. See, that's what I'm learning. Don't watch TV. You don't even like going into like a Netflix, watch a documentary or like.
I don't watch TV at all anymore. I used to, and don't get me wrong. I love the old like Bridget Jones movies, or I love a movie now and again. But I haven't watched TV for a couple of years now. I'm very conscious of how I'm programming my mind, and I love to read. I love podcasts. I love things that fill my mind up. So that's, unless it's to do with love and beauty and happiness, I don't want to watch it. So yeah.
I understand this. This is good. Okay, fantastic. Well, if I come over and visit, then is it, are you going for Chinese food or Italian food?
Oh, that's a toughie. I love food. I'd have to say 50-50 pizza. That's a tough one. I love both of them. Probably Italian. I'd say maybe Italian more.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, they're close for me too, but I'm going to lean towards Italian too. I could have that every day. I guarantee that. How about for traveling wise, train or plane?
Oh, plane, definitely. I love planes. Yeah.
I never lose the excitement of flying on a plane. Here's a tricky one for you because I know you're into the. I've seen your Instagram. Fashion, Burberry or Victoria Beckham?
Oh, definitely Victoria Beckham for me. I love Victoria Beckham. I love her style. I love everything about. Yeah, she's Victoria Beckham. For me, she was my role model when I first started going through my transformation. I picked Victoria Beckham because I loved the way that she had a mindset. She knew what she wanted and she created a vision and she knew what she wanted. For me, she was stylish, she was elegant. She's what I wanted to become when I left the person that I was. So she was my everything. I still have scrapbooks of her everywhere because I just love what she represented and I wanted to be that woman. You know, I wanted to one day become like she was. So yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, like you said, yeah. Well, the results speak for themselves for her. That's for sure. Okay, how about this? I think I already know from skipping, but let's see, dancing or singing?
Oh gosh, I love singing and dancing. That's a 50-50. I sing everywhere, I dance everywhere, and sometimes I forget when I've got my earphones on and I'm walking around the street that people hear me. I'm in the bath with the old hairbrush, thinking I'm Whitney Houston. And
wow, you were very Victoria in the Spice Girls. You were that character. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. I love singing and dancing.
I got it. How about this? Sunrise or sunset?
Oh, sunset, definitely for me. I love a sunset. It's beautiful. I love watching the sun go down, and it's a very powerful thing to experience it as well when you're sitting there watching it go down. It's beautiful.
I agree with you, especially in Barbados. I know somebody in Barbados watching them every day. Anyway, we'll go down and see them with them for sure. Talking about mindset, if you want to talk mindset, Michelle Obama or Oprah?
Oh, Oprah for me. I love Oprah Winfrey. I think she's amazing. She's a total transformation, an inspiration, like where she was and what she overcome and what she's achieved. To me, I love her. I think she's amazing.
Okay, fantastic. I love this question, and there's no right or wrong. Hope or freedom?
I think freedom, because we are all free. We just have to get out of our own way and stop the chains. We're chaining ourselves. So when we let go of those chains, we don't need hope because we're free. So freedom for me, definitely.
Okay, fantastic. Finish this sentence for me, please. I love my life because...
Oh my God, I love my life because every single day I have 24 hours to wake up and live this joyful life experience. You know, God has created the most unbelievable, amazing world. And I get to wake up and experience watching my grandchildren, my sons, who I'm so proud, my family, friends, and just to find the pure joy and just to breathe, you know, like, no, I don't sleep, Peter. People say to me, you don't sleep. No, because I can sleep when I'm dead. Like, I want to just immerse myself in life. And, you know, when you walk, when you go out, look at the spiders' webs, you know, all the things we miss because we're just pounding the streets. Like, stop and look around. We're living in the most unbelievable world. So start really taking it in. And yeah, I love life. I'm so grateful for being able to be alive and to live this life experience. So yeah, thank you.
I so agree with you on that. So agree with you. I'm going to bring in your good friend. Look at this guy. He's so committed to you, Mimi, that he stuck around in the green room. He hung around. He wanted to make sure that you weren't saying anything out of context that he needs to be aware of when you go on air next week.
He backs me, Peter. He does, yeah.
Gareth, I want to thank you for sticking around in the show, my fine friend, and I hope you enjoyed being here. And I appreciate you taking the time out. And did we lay enough hints about visiting Barbados? I mean, did you pick up any of the vibe at all, or?
Yeah, I think the only thing left to do is to do a Red TV show from Barbados.
Wow!
You read my mind.
On the beach.
See?
On the beach.
You just put it out there for me. Tell me now, please tell me you when you go to sleep tonight, dream about it, because I know your dreams come true.
Yeah, we're going to manifest that one, Peter. That's manifested, definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to work on that. That's what we're going to. Mimi, listen, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Peter.
I can't thank you enough. Garth, stick around for a little bit. Would you, after the show, stick around, would you, a little bit? We'll come back for 2 seconds. Stick with me for 2 seconds if you can. Mimi, I just want to thank you for being on the show. I knew it was going to be an awesome show. I knew that when we were going to jump on, we were going to chat. I did my best to keep it to an hour, and it's 90 minutes, so I did good. That's good for me. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you enjoyed being here. I really appreciated all your time and energy and sharing all the things with everyone here. And I just publicly want to say thanks for all the things I know you've said some things to me, either in the clubhouse room and even privately, that means the world, because of course my heart is still healing, and these kinds of things are really important to me. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Peter. And remember, the answer is you, the problem is you, the solution is you, and the answer is right behind you. As we said, can we give away the secret now? Because
okay, let's give away the secret. We were chatting one time, everybody, and I was just blabbering about something, and she said, "That pillow behind you." And I said, "What pillow?" And it says, the pillow back there says, "All you need is love." And as a musician, of course, I relate to the song and the sentiment, of course. But you said something profound to me, like, "Yeah, the answer is you, and it's right behind you." And I really appreciate that. You picked up on that. Again, it really means a lot. That means you're paying attention, obviously. So.
Yeah, so I want to thank you, Peter, for giving me the platform today. You're an amazing, inspirational person doing some amazing work in the world. And just for everyone to remember, life is short. It's really short. So don't waste your time holding on to things that don't serve you. Just let it go and just start creating, visioning the life that you really want to live. Because, we only have this one life experience. So make it the best life experience you possibly can. So thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate you.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, of course. Time, listen, I understand the value of time. I really do. And, it could be gone in a flicker, everybody. So, again, I appreciate all your time. I'm going to go through every comment. If you want to learn more about Mimi, of course, mimibland.London is where you can go. We talked about the book today. You can make sure you can go out and get a copy of this, and lots of really cool insights in here. Change your life. Clubhouse, you can go out to Clubhouse and of course connect with her there as well. And Mimi, I'm going to see you on the other side. And as we say, everybody, I'm going to end out the video. I'm going to end out because I know you guys always end your Clubhouse with music. And one of my favorite words I told you earlier is courage.
Yeah.
And many years ago, while I was I'm a person who makes videos, videographer, producer, these kinds of things. I was out filming something for a nonprofit, and long story short, they had these words all posted throughout the woods, through the forest, and there were pathways, and then each one of these words would be posted on a tree, and then you'd walk down this path. And I found the one for courage.
Wow.
And as soon as I saw that, I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to capture this for myself, to play it over and over again in my mind, so remind myself that yes, I can walk the path of courage." And from that, I don't claim to be a songwriter. As a musician, I do write songs and stuff, but I wrote a song about it, and so I'm going to play a little clip from the song, but I'll play a little clip from the song. It's all about courage and being courageous and following that path. I think it's very applicable to our conversation today. So, and as I always say, everybody, listen, that's how we end the show. Just be kind out there. That's all you have to do. Just be kind. It's really simple. Just be kind to everybody.
Yeah, and yourself, Peter. Love yourself.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side, Mimi. See you, everybody. Do One Give Day, April 28th, 2022. Go out and do some good, everybody. We'll see you on the other side.
1, 2, 3.